I chose the topic Canada geese, airborne invaders. My name's Nick Schneblin, by the way. So a little bit of inspiration for this is that walking around Iowa State, you tend to see Canada geese everywhere. Also, a disclaimer too, I found out it's Canada geese, not Canadian geese. It's a little interesting thing there. But anyways, they stick out because they're a pretty large bird. They're a migratory animal that can be found as far north as the Arctic Circle and as far south as Mexico. They can also be found in other countries too, but for this presentation I'm going to be focusing on North America. But I'm going to be tackling the question of whether Canada geese, even though they're native to North America, have become an invasive species to man-made environments. And also this picture, by the way, is Lancelot attacking geese at Lake Laverne. So, from extinction to proliferation, about 100 years ago, Canada geese almost went like completely extinct. But lots of conservation programs have brought back the population in explosion, like a population. But a trend that's been happening is they've been moving from wild environments to man-made environments, so like parks, man-made like bodies of water, like farm ponds, stuff like that. And a question comes up as who's right to the land? Is it the geese or is it humans? But for this I'll be tackling that humans have the right to the land. So the big debate becomes the argument for Canada geese or the argument against Canada geese being an invasive species. And that mainly comes down to do Canada geese provide an aesthetic value to parks or do they cause damage to parks? And also like pollution and aggressive behavior as well. So some main support for like the types of damage that they can cause. Mainly it comes down to agricultural damage, so they can cause like a lot of, like, they eat up crops and stuff. And one study in 2000 found that geese accounted for about $600,000 of damage, agricultural damage. And another concern too is to aircraft near airports and stuff. The famous 2009 Hudson landing, it was a flock of Canada geese that brought down the airplane within like 3 minutes of takeoff. So it was like right near the airport. So how are Canada geese invasive exactly? They compete with local species. They eat up a lot of resources. They're very adaptable, resilient. One study found that from hatching, about 73 to 90% of goslings actually survive to become adults, which is like relatively high compared to like other like natural species. They also congregate in large broods that move from area to area, like using up resources. So they can change ecosystems very drastically because they introduce like a big change like right away. And then also the topic of dealing with the geese, if they're an invasive species, is non-lethal or lethal methods. Non-lethal methods tend to include scare tactics, relocation, and also encouraging people not to feed geese at like parks. And then lethal methods obviously include hunting, euthanasia, which is a little iffy, and then also egg addling and egg destruction. And all egg addling is people go around nests and they grab eggs and they shake them until they're like not fertile. But they don't like destroy them because then the geese will think that they're still like fertile eggs and they'll still lay on them and not lay any more eggs. So also one of the best methods for dealing with them is relocating geese to a more rural area and then encouraging people to hunt them, because hunting isn't really effective in urban areas. Yeah. And then in conclusion, geese present like a significant problem to urban developments. They're very adaptable, resilient creatures, and methods to deal with them can be pretty controversial, the whole lethal versus non-lethal debate. And any questions? No, I did not take pictures.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
How can you look at that image of that cute goose there and say that they're an invasive species?
That's a good question.
All right. Good.